All right, here's speech two. Here's my lovely audience. Right there? Okay. All right. What would you think if I told you that there's a problem in the United States that affects 21 million people a year? That's almost 7% of our population, or 1 out of every 15 people in the country. What if I also told you that only about 10% of these 21 million people get the help that they need for this problem? And then think about this. What if I also told you that this problem costs the country over $600 billion a year? Well, my friends, this problem is real, and it's called substance abuse in the United States. Although it might seem overrated, this problem is very real, and it needs to be addressed and fixed. Now, we probably all know someone or know of at least one person, if not more, who has struggled with substance abuse at least one point in their life. So we can all relate to this topic. Many of us have seen how substance abuse tears apart families, ruins friendships, and overall degrades a person's moral integrity. I spent a lot of time in high school with people who had experienced the effects of substance abuse firsthand in their homes. This problem is very dear to me, and I came to learn that its effects are felt far and wide from the initial source. I presented on this topic, done papers, and done presentations in other classes because it means so much to me. In addition, a friend and I recently did a literature research on the genetic susceptibility to addictive tendencies. Now, my thesis for this speech is substance abuse is a problem whose remedy involves a deeper appreciation for health and a faith in God. I will use statistics to show you from credible sources that substance abuse is a big problem in the United States, and then I'll explain how substance abuse exerts its effect on communities, friendships, families, and most of all, the users themselves. Most importantly, I will show you how we need to fight this situation and weaken its stronghold on the lives of Americans by advocating a godly view of our bodies and how we should treat them. Let's take a closer look at this important topic. Substance abuse causes problems that affects families and communities. It affects 21 million people each year in the United States. Now that may not sound like a lot, but let me put it to you this way. 21 million people is the combined population of America's 7 largest cities. Only about 10% of those affected get the help they need. This is according to 2019 statistic from addictioncenter.com. The health effects of substance abuse in short term are alterations in mental status, heart rate, blood pressure, mood, and sleep cycle. The long-term effects can be HIV, stroke, or cardiovascular disease. In addition, about 1/2 of all ED visits are substance abuse related. This is according to a 2018 study from the journal called Addiction Science and Clinical Practice. These alarming statistics make it obvious that drug abuse has far-reaching effects. The majority of inmates test positive for illicit drugs, and substance abuse and use is much more prevalent among inmates and people who commit crimes. About 5% of deaths worldwide are related to alcohol. And finally, substance abuse costs the U.S. economy over $600 billion a year. Now, these problems are not just felt by the community, but they permeate the lives of families as well. They can lead to divorces, domestic violence, and most of all, they traumatize the people who come out of these homes and have to grow up around this. And this brings me to my third and final point. The solution is twofold. First, we need to advocate a deeper respect for our bodies as godly creation. And second, we need to instill this in children at a young age. Over 90% of people who abuse substances begin using that substance by the time they turn 18. Now, this is especially crucial to address because children are very susceptible to peer pressure. So, as older influences in their lives, we need to instill in them a Christian worldview and help them develop an appreciation for their body and their health. 1 Corinthians 6, verses 19 and 20 says, "Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit? You are not your own, you were bought at a price. Therefore, we should honor God with our bodies." Now, no one wants to be in the ED, but as I've already said, over half of all ED visits in the United States in the last several years were related to substance abuse. In addition, no one wants the harmful health effects of drug abuse either. With this as our motivation, we should be especially cautious not to use substances that have addictive tendencies, or at least use them legally and responsibly. In addition, if you know that you have an addictive personality or tendencies, you just shouldn't use them at all. It's better for your health and for that of other people overall. Psalms 139 verses 13 and 14 says that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. Jeremiah 1:5 says that before we were formed in the womb, God set us apart for a special purpose. And of course, the passage in 1 Corinthians 6 says that our bodies are not our own, they are bought at a price. Therefore, it is imperative that we honor God with our bodies. So, in conclusion, drug abuse is a massive problem in the United States. It hurts the economy, it leads to more crime, it rips families and friendships apart, and it traumatizes those around them. Yet realizing how valuable our bodies are and taking care of them to honor God gives us the motivation to avoid substance abuse. Now, I want to remind you as my audience that you're valuable to God and that He loves each and every one of you. He desires to live in your heart, and this love is way more fulfilling than any instant gratification that an abusive substance can ever give you. Honor God with your bodies because each one of you is a temple made specially in His image.